In Christchurch, fishery officers go after flounder poachers.
You're starting to tell porky-pies. You're telling untruths.
A cliff fall leads to a frantic search around Mangawhai Heads.
We don't have a GPS position, so we're just going to have to fly north.
And a boat collision on Auckland's harbour. With an area of nearly 200 square kilometres, Lake Ellesmere is located directly west of Banks Peninsula. Its shallow waters and abundance of fish make it a poacher's paradise.
We're starting to now get a better picture of who's involved, vehicles involved. We've got great observations of the fishing activities. We can see the fish going to the bins. We know he's taken more than 3 times daily limit.
Christchurch fishery officers have spent 10 weeks working on Operation Flatfish, an operation targeting suspected flounder poachers.
Looks like there's a whole family group. The whole family's arrived.
The daily limit for flounder is 30 per person. Today, the focus is on a group believed to be taking well in excess of those limits.
We suspect one person's coming in and clearing all 3 flounder nets that are here and taking away the flounder.
An intercept team position themselves a few miles up the road to catch any suspects.
When the vehicles come, they'll come over this way. We'll set up the cones and the signs prior to this driveway. We'll direct them, both vehicles, into here. From that point onwards, we'll isolate each vehicle, try and keep the people in those vehicles separate.
It's not long before one of the group gets to work clearing the net.
I've counted 25 flounder from this net.
The poacher quickly moves on to the second net, and soon his haul is too big for one man to carry.
He's just been joined by a second person.
The second man doesn't retrieve any flounder from the net, so he can't claim to be fishing.
The second person actually hasn't taken part in any form of clearing the net. He's just walked along and helped.
Over the next hour, the suspected poachers cleared 2 nets.
So from the second net, he's taken 25 and he's just moving on to his third net now.
As the men return to shore, the intercept team get the call.
We're going to pull them at Coes Ford on the Lincoln side of Coes. What I need to know though is if they divvy up that fish, I need to know every single car that they go into. Our target has cleared 3 nets. He's in excess of 75 fish, which means that he's committed offences against the Fisheries Act and that they're only allowed to clear 1 net.
As the vehicles leave the lake, the intercept team swing into action, and it's clear they've taken the group by surprise.
1 silver car's gone down that way, and that's the one with the fish.
In Whanganei, a Northland Electricity Rescue Helicopter crew were responding to a call-out.
We don't have too much information at this time. We believe it may be a significant fall from a cliff, which could have any number of injuries, including significant limb injuries, spinal injuries, or at worst, he could have a brain injury.
The accident site is 60 km southeast of Whanganei at Mangawhai Heads. But there's a problem. The crew don't have a precise location for the accident.
We don't have a GPS position, so we're just going to have to fly north a couple of kilometres apparently from Mangawhai Heads.
With the injured man's condition unknown, every minute is critical. The chopper squad frantically search for their destination.
Here's Langs Beach, guys, just all eyes out to the right and see if we can spot these guys as we come around the coast. There is a walkway along the top of some of these cliffs here.
But the first 2 bays are empty.
Obviously further around than I thought it might have been.
Finally, the crew spot the telltale colourings of local lifeguards, who have also responded to the emergency and decide to attempt a landing on the wet sand.
We only land down below the high tide mark if we really have to, which is looking like we need to in this case because there's nowhere else to land. And we keep it running. One guy stays in the aircraft so that we can lift it straight away.
With the high tide fast approaching, time is of the essence. If they can't get the helicopter in and out fast, they risk getting stuck.
One wheel on the ground, Russell. Wheel touching now.
Lake Ellesmere, south of Christchurch. Fishery officers have set up an intercept for a group they believe are involved in poaching flounder.
One silver car's gone down that way, Stewie. Go, and that's the one with the fish, I think.
Mobile phones, John. Yeah, they're pulling in already, so they know they're sprung.
While one car has evaded the checkpoint, the officers have the other vehicles isolated.
The 4 vehicles that have been identified at Lake Ellesmere, we've directed them into this camping area. We're speaking now to the occupants of those vehicles.
Fishery officers have had this man under surveillance for weeks, and with 2 previous charges against his name, if he is found to have broken the law again, he could be banned from fishing for 3 years.
Have you got fish in this vehicle?
Only this one and the red one.
Oh, only this one and the red one?
The officers quickly get the count underway.
How many has he got?
29, and they're all of sized.
They're all sized, so they're above the minimum. As of such, he's free to go.
With this carload cleared of any wrongdoing, the officers refocus their attention on the main suspect.
78, 79, 80, 81, 82.
Yep, sweet. 82.
So we confirm 82.
82 flounder is well over the daily limit of 30 flounder, but the man is claiming he's done nothing wrong, and he was just sharing his bin with this man.
Fish put it in my bin because he's got no bin.
Where's your fish? Is that down here? It's in the bin?
Yeah. I didn't have a bin, so I shared with Millen's bin.
You never took any fish?
From my net? No, I had some fish in my net.
Who took the fish out of the net, out of your net?
Me.
Members of the group are trying to claim ownership of some of the fish and nets, a common trick employed by owners. But they don't realise that their every move has been recorded.
Who owns those nets?
It's mine.
I don't want you to say anything that's going to get you into further trouble. Because
It's my net.
No, just listen. Because we have been watching what's been going on for quite a while. So you have never got in the water to clear your nets.
Oh my gosh, yes. Do you know there's a boat over there where people go, they see me on the water.
No, they're not
on
the day.
Monday. I went and checked my net.
Not the days we've been watching you anyway.
With the group still denying any offence, things come to a head.
You're starting to tell porky pies. You're telling untruths. Because, as I said, this gentleman's videoing you, that man's taking photos of you, and yet you're trying to tell us that you went and took fish out of the net. You're leaving yourself open for unnecessary grief. Because, as I said, this gentleman's videoing you, and yet you're trying to tell us that you went and took fish out of the net.
But that was my net, I asked them.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's fine. We're not worried about your net.
Not worried about your net.
Yeah.
You did not take any fish out of the net. All you did was push the bin. That's all you did.
Realising the game's up, the friend now admits he didn't clear any nets, so the main offender has some explaining to do. The rules are simple. The daily limit is only 30 flounder from one net per person.
The main offender will be coming back with us for an interview. The fish will be returned to the sea. Hopefully they'll still live. So that's where we stand at the moment.
Back at the fishery office, the man gives away very little at a formal interview and requests a lawyer. He later pleaded guilty to taking excess flatfish and using more than one set net per day. He received 300 hours community service and was banned from fishing for 3 years. But taking more than the daily limit of fish isn't the only problem in the Christchurch area. A black market has emerged for buying and selling flounder.
Intelligence has led us to believe that flounder has been sold to the shop. So we're just going to do an inspection and see if they've got any flounder on the premises, and if they have, where it's come from. Hello, mate.
Morning.
How are you? Good. I'm from Ministry of Fisheries.
Yeah.
Just doing inspections of the area of people that sell fish. Do you sell any fish? You don't sell fish? No. All right, but you do cook fish here? Yeah.
If we need fish.
Because you've got flounder for sale here.
Yeah, if we need flounders, and then we shuffle them. Have you got any flounders here at the moment?
The man shows the officers a couple of flounder at the front of the shop.
So where did you get these from? 2 months ago. Oh, yeah. Have you got a receipt for it, by any chance?
You got no documentation for the fish at all? Is this the only freezer you've got? Yeah. Oh, we'll just have a wee look out the back.
Out back, they find another big freezer.
Oh, you've got a lot of flounder here, mate.
In Auckland, the Trillion Rescue Alpha crew are on patrol when an emergency call comes in.
Another vessel broken down at North Head. Just requesting you could possibly go over and investigate.
Alpha copies underway, North Head.
A member of the public on shore has raised the alarm after seeing a small boat apparently on fire just off the coast.
Foreman has said that there has been smoke seen, also 3 kids on the boat.
Comms reporting fire and children naturally raises alarm bells.
Okay, this definitely looks like our customer anyway, guys.
The crew have found the boat in trouble. The fire's been put out, but the boat's in bad shape and is being towed by an even smaller vessel.
How are ya? What is your problem? Okay, so your motor's kaput then, is it?
Only one of the 3 kids on board the boat is wearing a life jacket. The Coast Guard volunteer crew decide to take control and take over the tow from the Good Samaritan.
Thanks very much, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, now watch the tension as we go past. Fingers out, ease it, ease it. Let it go, get them all to sit down, and if there's a problem, get someone to stand up and we'll stop instantly.
Put your life jackets on. Now, if there's any trouble, stand up and wave out.
With the boat secured and the children wearing their jackets, the crew of Rescue Alpha slowly heads to shore. But suddenly, one of the kids tries to get the crew's attention.
What's happened is that they've got a pretty old boat that doesn't look in very good repair, and their cleat seems to be pulling out of the body of the boat, which is a bit unsafe for them, so we're going to slow down a bit, take it easy, and keep an eye on it as we go.
Skipper Campbell is amazed at the risks people are prepared to take.
He's got 3 kids in the boat. If their boat, dare I say, disintegrated at sea, then there would be a lot of problems. And I'm sure he realises that his boat's not as good as it might be.
Taking it slowly, Coast Guard managed to get the boat and crew safely back to Okahu Bay.
Thanks very much, eh?
No one injured?
No one.
Back on land, the boys can't wait to tell their tale.
We were riding along and then the motor cut out, and then we tried to start it again and it set on fire.
It's a good opportunity for Coast Guard to give the skipper's son some advice.
So perhaps you're going to help him a little bit and say, hey, Dad, we've got to get the engine checked before we go out?
You've been many times out and it never happened, and just when it happens for the first time, you think twice, oh.
Lesson learned. Campbell hopes they make a few changes before their next adventure.
Quite often we find that people go out in small boats and think, oh, we're only going a short distance, so we'll be safe. And they go out to the outsides of breakwater and it's rough as anything out there, and that's when they have their problems.
Near Mangawhai Heads, the rescue helicopter has raced to the aid of a man who has fallen down a cliff. But with soft sand and a fast approaching high tide, time is of the essence. If they can't get in and out fast, they risk getting the helicopter stuck.
We keep it running. One guy stays in the aircraft. If the tide starts coming in, we lift it straight away.
Yeah, so from how high? 12 feet. How's your pain? Not very good, okay, we've got pain.
The man, Noel, has 2 broken ankles and a possible head injury, and Sam needs to get his pain under control before they can move him.
Just keep your hands still. We're going to give you some, put a needle in it and give you some morphine, okay? Just a bit of morphine, it'll make you feel a bit lightheaded, but I'll take that pain away for you, eh?
Sam, Wally and the lifeguards present splint Noel's legs ready for transfer, but there's still some concern about the level of pain he's in.
How's that pain now? Still the same. Keep breathing that up, it's going to move you shortly. So just normal breaths of that, breathe it in, let it work, breathe it back out through the tube. Because when we move you onto the stretcher, it'll be relatively pain-free.
With his pain under control, they transfer Noel onto the stretcher.
Keep coming, and easy down there. There you go, you okay? Is everyone right? Okay, hey, we won't get to say thank you, so thank you very much guys, excellent work.
Before the tide traps the chopper, Noel's safely on board and in the air, where he reveals how a cliff-top stroll ended in disaster.
I fell and I turned around and I jumped, but I think the sea took me sideways. That's why I rolled in.
Okay, I can see. How did you end up where you were?
Yeah, well, I crawled.
2 hours after Noel fell down the cliff face, the chopper reached Whangarei Base Hospital. After an extended stay, Noel is still hoping for further recovery to his ankles. In Christchurch, fishery officers have paid a visit to a shop they believe is buying flounder from an illegal source.
Do you sell any fish? You don't sell fish.
But out the back of the shop, more evidence is found.
We have just found a reasonably large quantity of flounder in plastic bags in his freezer. This gentleman said that he doesn't sell fish to the public and it's only for himself. We've got a flounder sign for $8 on the Bay Marie there.
All up, 39 flounder are found on the premises, and the man is pinning it all on his wife.
He's now saying his wife's bought it. When she gets here, I'll have a chat to her about where this flounder's come from. To be fair, I don't think this flounder's come from a legitimate source. I think it's come from the lake. Okay? I think it's come from Lake Ellesmere, so it's quite serious. So we're going to have to talk to you and your wife about where that fish has come from. Okay?
But the wife's return doesn't help clarify the situation.
If you've got any documentation relating to fish...
Yeah, I have so many here, so I'm going to look for it.
Okay. She's showing us the receipts for fish they're selling, which is jack mackerel, blue moki and kawai. There's no mention of flounder.
However, the lady does have a new explanation of where the 39 flounder came from.
One of our friends asked if we can bring the flounder to put in our freezer because this one is not good. Are we in trouble?
We need to know where the flounder have come from. Anything in the shop is deemed to be for commercial sale. I'm going to have to ask you and your husband to come down to our office for an interview about what's happened.
While the shop owner gave little away at the interview, he later pleaded guilty to failing to keep records of all fish purchased by a dealer and received a fine of $250. It's a busy weekend on Auckland's Waitemata Harbour when an urgent call comes through to Coastguard volunteers on Rescue Alpha.
One female person is reported as serious injuries, over. The location is currently off of Princess Wharf.
Y'all need everyone to hold on, guys. No. Okay, underway. There's going to be a washing machine in here.
2 sailboats have collided and one has split in 2 and quickly sunk to the ocean floor. Coastguard vessels have been tasked to the emergency.
Whereabouts?
On arrival, the crew of ASB Rescue are already at the scene. The couple have been pulled on board the yacht that collided with them, and medics are trying to assess their injuries. The sunken boat's owner is visibly in shock, and his wife has suffered serious pelvic injuries and head lacerations after being caught under the bow of the other boat.
I require you to call an ambulance and just confirm one patient with the pelvic injury, was it? Yeah, patient with pelvic injury and husband with her.
They need to get her to hospital fast, so Rescue Alpha will need to clear the way through the busy boat traffic.
Okay, stand by on the horn.
But as they negotiate a path to shore, they spot another potential hazard.
What just went overboard?
Something just went overboard.
Something's overboard off that boat.
Stop!
It's a dog.
Hey, your dog!
The dog is overboard.
Finally, the dog owners notice the commotion and turn their boat around, and Alpha continues to shore.
Okay, we touch and go to get some crew ashore, please, guys. Bring you alongside of this wharf here.
The injured woman, Jill, is in intense pain, much to the concern of her husband.
Do you feel comfortable, Jill, to be moved like this? Because we can take you all the way out to the ambulance.
Quite a bit of pain in her left buttock.
As she's taken to the waiting ambulance, the only sign of the incident is a couple of scratches to the much larger boat. Jill spent a week in hospital and had months of physio to get back to full health. The sunken boat Gypsy was salvaged, but it will cost an estimated $350,000 to get her back on the water. It's 10:30 p.m. and Fishery Officer Kelly's taking part in Operation John, an operation targeting a commercial crayfisher working out of Napier.
We're off to our
OP point, observation point, on the top of the cliffs above Aropa Nui. The other three teams have already got themselves in, and we're going in under the cover of darkness so that we won't be seen, and to sleep overnight to be there at 5 a.m. in the morning to hopefully intercept the vessel that we're interested in.
The skipper of the boat that fisheries are interested in is suspected of poaching crayfish by using customary and recreational cray pots to supplement his catch from commercial pots. But before the operation can start, the surveillance team has to make a dangerous trip in the dark to the cliff tops above the fishing grounds.
We've arrived at Aropa Nui. We've got probably 45 minutes of quad biking up onto the ridges which are up in the darkness up here to get to a high point and then down to our tent, which is set just below the cliff face.
It takes more than an hour of riding through the dark before Kelly makes it to his observation point on the cliffs.
This is home. So I come in earlier on this afternoon to set our fly in the valley.
After a few uncomfortable hours in the tent, Kelly's up at 5 a.m, but it's too dark to see anything, and the suspect skipper is already working his cray pots.
He's directly below me. He's also obviously worked a pot and is now on the move with the aid of a spotlighters checking for the remainder of the pots. But I can see no detail at all. Yeah, roger. I can hear the gear rattling over the capstan, unable to confirm it visually.
The area the boat's working in is a Mataitai reserve, which means commercial fishing is banned. But because nobody sees what the skipper took out of the reserve, there's no proof the rules are being broken.
The fishermen obviously started very, very early this morning. We were unable to get any visual observations of him. So we're heading back to the office to have a rethink about what we're going to do.
All right, guys, we'll make a start.
Back in Napier, there's some better news. Although there's no proof, one of the surveillance teams saw enough to convince everybody that they're on the right track.
They took a breather for a couple of minutes, and then they started to measure crayfish. Fish were going over the side, some were going into an orange bin on the floor of the boat, on the deck of the boat. And then they took that bin off, put another one up, I think it was a green bin, started measuring the fish in the green bin, and I would say 80% of those went over the side back into the water. Okay. And a handful went into the orange bin on the deck.
So he's measuring the customary crays and dropping them into commercial.
It's interesting that the fish that have been caught in a mataitai are being measured, so that's thrown back over. And thrown back over. So when you can take any size. So that is interesting. Couldn't figure that. Okay.
The fact that the fisher is sorting his customary catch and putting them into different bins suggests they're destined for his commercial catch. And the team decide to step up the operation. There will be another night of surveillance on the cliffs.
Hey, you big boy.
And tagged crayfish will be put in the suspect's customary pots.
We have a selection of fish in the tank here, which we're marking. Mike's marking the fish at the moment, and then what we're going to do later on this afternoon is seed that fish into some pots. The reason we're seeding the fish is to determine whether there's been an offence or not. And what we're actually doing is marking the fish and then putting them into some customary pots in this mataitai. So if any of these marked fish turn up in the commercial catch, we will have a very good indication that there's been an offence committed.
Female. Mark on right hand leg.
While the crayfish operation continues in Napier, up in Auckland things are going horribly wrong for a couple of boaties on the Waitemata Harbour.
We've had a report that originally it was a mayday call that someone was taking on water. The call has transpired into the vessel has sunk. There are apparently 2 people in the water wearing life jackets. They originally said they were between or off Tiatia Bay. It would appear now they're closer to Motutapu Island. They can now currently talking on the cell phone, they can see the Westpac, but we still haven't had an update on their exact location.
As Auckland Maritime Police officers Craig and John search the area, another boat's come to the rescue.
DNR3, Coastguard Radio, Channel 16.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've just received a phone call from a vessel on the water that has recovered the woman from the water. We're just getting details now, and we'll update you as soon as we have those details. Over. DNR3, we have just managed to obtain a position from the vessel that is alongside. That position puts them just west of Maumea off Wharf Bay area. Over.
Maumea.
The sinking boat's a long way from its first reported position, and as the DODA heads for the area, the people who rescued the woman from the boat are now trying to get the man to safety.
Yeah, speaking to the vessel that is alongside, they are unable to recover the male. He is sitting on the hull of the upturned boat. The rescuing vessel has too many people on board to recover him on board. However, they're trying to affix a line to the vessel so that they do not lose contact with him. Over.
As the people on the water struggle to keep in contact with the man on the upturned hull, the Westpac helicopter comes to the rescue.
Mayday, Waiheke rescue on the scene. Helicopter winch in process.
Okay, cool.
Mayday, Waiheke rescue 1, all copy, thank you.
With the man on his way to hospital, the woman from the sunken boat can be transferred to a Coastguard vessel.
Mayday, Howard rescue 1, Coastguard radio, go ahead. We are alongside the assisting vessel. We have transferred one patient over onto our vessel. Over. Roger, can you confirm male or female? Female.
Howard from DNR3.
DNR3, this is Howard rescue 1, over.
Yeah, what's this woman's condition, please?
Mild hypothermic, over.
With everybody safe and the Coast Guard getting ready to tow the boat to shore, Craig makes contact with the people who pulled the woman from the water.
These are our heroes. Can you tell us what did you see?
Yeah, we thought they're divers or something like that, but we saw the woman like 15 meters away.
Yeah.
And he said, the boat went down. So yeah, we asked him if he's all right, and he said, yeah, I'm all right. He had a life jacket and everything on. And we went to pick up the woman.
So was she waving?
Nah, she was holding the purse and the phone. Yeah, she was holding the phone in one hand, so yeah.
She was pretty calm, was she?
Well, I think she was in a shock, mate. She couldn't speak. I'm pretty sure that was the reason why she didn't wave.
Yeah, she didn't say a word. We'll let you go and hope you get a few fish today.
Hopefully.
Well, you caught a couple of big fish.
Yeah,
you have to throw them back, though.
We've done our job today. Yeah. I'm more than happy. Take care, guys.
In Napier, Operation John is out to catch a commercial fisherman suspected of poaching crayfish. And a fisheries team is on the water, locating the suspect's pots, recording their GPS position and putting a marked crayfish in each.
Male, cray, marked on the right-hand leg.
The team have put 23 crayfish in the suspect's pots, but before they return to shore, they make sure that the GPS positions they've recorded are correct.
What we're coming into a lands and survey mark that's actually stamped with a steel pin driven into the end of the number 3 wharf here on the Port of Napier. And what we're doing is we're going to come in and park up alongside it to validate the accuracy of our own GPS. So it's a way of just certifying that everything we're doing is going to stand up strongly in court.
The GPS check confirms the readings they've taken, and now it's time for the team to head for the coast above the fishing grounds. They'll start their surveillance at first light, but before that, there's another uncomfortable night on the cliff tops.
All right, we've just reached our observation point on Araparanui Station. It's taken us about 3.5 hours to find it. We've actually, the last half hour, we've been not stumbling in the dark, but picking our way down a creek bed in the dark. So it's just into the sleeping bags and that's us.
The next morning it was already light by the time the suspect boat arrived.
And the crayfish are going into the orange bin just on the floor to the right of the dinghy. 0639, another pot's been retrieved. 1, 2, 3 fish retained, 4 fish retained. hot reset. Continues to travel towards me, so the detail should improve. 0641, pot has been retrieved, pot's on board, one over the side, one retained, three retained, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fish retained. Time is 7:01. They're just heading off. The crays that they measured are in the orange bins, and they're gone.
The surveillance showed that the suspect was mixing up crays from different pots, but the real proof would come later in the day when fishery officers visited the factory the skipper sold to. While things are coming to a head in Napier, down in the Marlborough Sounds, Ministry of Fisheries officers have teamed up with the Navy on board the HMNZS Rotuiti to do checks of recreational fishermen. And the first boat they come across has been mixing the pleasures of diving and fishing.
Hey guys, you got any other divers in the water apart from this guy? No. Okay. We're from the Ministry of Fisheries, just doing a routine patrol. Have you guys got any fish on board? Yeah. Yep. All right. I'm just going to jump on board and have a look at them. Okay. Yep.
As soon as Fishery Officer Andrew gets on board, he spots a problem: an undersized blue cod.
So I'm going to have to ask you to take your gear off. We're going to deal with this, and then you can go for a dive, okay? I'll do a quick measure up, but he definitely looks too small to me. Yeah, I mean, he's about 27 centimetres, so he's way too small.
Well, how big do they have to be? 30.
Yep. So we got one undersized fish then. All right, so...
do I have to take all my stuff off, or can I just sit like this?
I'll just have a quick look in the rest of the boat and see what else we got, okay?
But the undersized blue cod is only one of the issues on the boat.
Bit of burley. Was this... When was all this taken?
Over the last few days.
Over the last few days? So we've got some power.
We got them in the freezer there if you want to look, but...
Yep, we'll have a look.
The presence of power on the boat wouldn't necessarily be a problem, but when you've also got scuba gear on board, it definitely becomes one.
Yeah, so we'll get you guys to take your gear off.
We've found power meat, power shell on board, and the guys have got scuba gear, and the rules are you can't be in possession of scuba gear and also have power.
So what's your understanding of the law regarding possession of power and scuba gear?
As far as I'm aware, you're only allowed to take power free diving, and you're not allowed to use scuba gear to collect them. So when we did a dive, just snorkel, grab a few power. Today was a dive. We're going to look around the rocks here for crays. But I have heard that you're not supposed to have scuba gear on board. But because it's we're on board for such a long period of time, I didn't realise that it was going to be just a major issue.
Okay, I'll try and summarise that. Pass that across to you guys. It's a pretty cut and dry defence. The reason for it is to try and reduce the threat of poaching. They'll probably get a ticket for the power and scuba together, and that will be $250 each.
In Auckland, the Coastguard's struggling to salvage the boat of the couple they rescued from the Waitemata harbour, and the almost submerged vessels come to a complete stop in the outgoing tide.
See, the thing is, jet boat does not help the tow situation because they're just dumping wash on the bow, so it won't lift up.
The original intention was to get the boat to Half Moon Bay, but this is proving impossible in the conditions, so rescuers decide to head for the nearest beach.
So I've spoken to the owner of this vessel. He's going to uplift his trailer from Half Moon Bay, and he's going to bring it along to the Marine Parade here on Bucklands Beach, and we're going to try to pull the boat up onto his trailer or pull it up onto the beach, drain it out and pump it out, and then hopefully put it on the trailer. And once it's on the trailer, we might be able to ascertain what has happened.
Trevor, the owner of the vessel's on the beach with his trailer by the time the Deodar arrives, but getting his boat out of the water is going to be difficult.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to be able to hold this, that's all. This trailer. Yeah, no, but I'm just saying holding it while we take it off here.
Right down to the table, a couple of times and just lower it in.
Well, no, you can't let it go from here. It might take off. Okay, we'll have a few guys holding it.
It's a real community effort, with people coming off the beach to help with the trailer and others collecting the flotsam that's come off the back of the boat.
Nah, the tide's got it.
No, just let the other guys pull the trailer up.
You guys got the boat? Because it's in the tide at the moment.
Yeah, they got it.
We haven't got enough depth here yet, on that trailer. Trailer needs to go the full length of the line.
It's a real struggle to hold the weight of the boat, and anything that can help gets called into action.
Okay, we'll just bounce it with our weight in the car. Here it comes. Here it comes. It's getting light, so we're losing water. There we go. Just hold it there, let some water go out of it.
Getting the boat ready for the sea had been a 3-year labour of love for Trevor and his family, but it was all over in minutes.
We were going along quite happily and then we just started taking on water. So it looked like we'd hold somehow or a bit of rot in the boat or whatever, I don't know. And it just went down in a big hurry. Yeah, sort of 5 minutes probably.
And yeah, it happened pretty rapidly. Just gave me enough time to do the ship to shore radio, which I couldn't do that anyway, so I grabbed a cell phone and rang Coastguard and gave them a rough estimate where we were. And here we are, doing the salvage.
We'll go in the office if you like and just park up in there.
Down in Napier, Operation John is coming to an end, and fishery officers are going through the holding tanks to find the crayfish they put in the pots the previous day.
They've checked this tank.
Yeah.
These are the seeded fish. That bin there is the seeded fish that was found.
What seeded? How do you mean seeded?
We tagged those fish.
Where are they? Where's the tag?
Oh, we can't tell you that right now, but we've seeded. Yeah, we tagged that fish so we could identify it, and then those fish were seeded into the customary pots. So we've come here today, and now we've found that those fish that were seeded into the customary pots have been declared against. Have been recorded as a commercial catch.
As I do check, I've seen.
Okay.
But that wasn't the only problem the factory faced.
These are undersized fish that were found amongst the commercial catch as well. Okay. So what Mike's going to do now, we've been through one tank. He's going to go through this tank and continue looking for tagged fish. Okay. What we've actually found is 12 tagged fish that were seeded into the customary pots. We also found a quantity of undersized fish in the commercial catch, which is disappointing also. So what the guys are going to do now is go through the second tank and also look for seeded fish.
A further search revealed more tagged and undersized crayfish, and fisheries had all the evidence they needed.
He was given fair, and we don't normally do that. We'll say, look, hey, we've got a concern about you fellas, you know, to the fisher. He was given a fair warning, and Kelly gave him a fair warning, and when I came into it, was like, you had to know we had some concerns, eh? And he's just gone, I don't care, you guys will never catch me. And he's completely thumbed his nose at us and you guys.
The owners of the companies that held the fishing permit and the factory that distributed the crays were charged along with the skipper of the boat with possessing and selling illegal fish. All pleaded guilty and were fined a total of $12,000 plus costs. In addition, 180 kilograms of crays were sold by fisheries for just over $12,000, and the boat involved in the case was forfeit to the Crown. On Wairerapa's pristine coastline, Masterton fishery officers Rob and Ant are out on patrol. As one of the few areas with healthy power and rock lobster stocks, it's a hotspot for divers.
In the past, we've had known poachers dive this area, and currently still do dive this area. So it does have a history with us, also has quite a history with crayfishing in terms of the amount that comes out of here. It's quite a productive breeding ground for small cray.
The first call of the day comes through from the 0800 Poacher hotline.
I just received information that there's a diver hiding out over this paddock somewhere. So we're just going to go and pop in here and see what he's up to.
Divers often try to hide when they are tipped off that fisheries are in the area. So Rob and Ant go to investigate.
Apparently there's somebody at the water, but they're hiding in the grass somewhere, so we'll have a look around, see if it's right, and we might be able to flush them out.
But before they can find anyone, Ant spots a black backpack hidden in the bushes. The backpack contains 48 power. The daily limit is 10 per person. Whoever owns this bag had a good reason to dump it.
43 undersize.
Right, so 5 legals.
Then Rob's eagle eye spots a man walking across the rocks.
Excuse me, how you doing? You been out diving at all?
No, I'm just getting Kinnis somewhere on the rocks.
Kinnis, oh okay. No one else out here diving with you at all?
No.
No? Oh okay, have you got Kinnis in the bag there or?
Despite claiming to have caught kinner, Ant only finds power when he checks the man's bag.
So you got 3 undersize. So you haven't got any other bags with you?
No.
Who's with that black bag there on the beach up there?
I only got one bag. 29.
Despite Ant's suspicions, there's nothing to tie the man to the backpack full of power. Ant takes his details for the 3 undersized power he has on him.
Maybe get a measure or something next time.
Yeah.
You know, so you got the 125. And then that stops any 10 limit per day per person, and your 125 mils. And that's what we need.
It's disappointing for Rob and Ant not to have found the owner of the black bag, but at least the diver hasn't got away with his loot.
3 times his recreational take, so it'd be 3 times over. So it's a offence where you'd go to court. So it'd be prosecuted by the Ministry of Fisheries, and you end up in court. So you can understand why someone would dump them.
To make sure the diver doesn't return for his haul, the officers take the power right up the coast to return them back to the ocean.
So the idea is to stick the powers back onto a rock, and they'll make sure they suck on, and they should be okay. If you just throw them back in, they'll more or less end up dying and becoming just part of the food chain. So if you can stick them back on the rock, all the better. In between waves.
It's going to be a long evening for Ant and Rob. They have to stick 43 undersized power onto the rocks. The only consolation is that the diver has lost his illegal catch. If he had been caught today, he would have faced serious prosecution. It's the peak of summer in the Coromandel, and Ministry of Fishery Officers Kath, Carol and Jason are out patrolling this stunning coastline.
Beautiful day, so thinking there'll be a few boats out. We'll just sit off the cove a little bit and wait till they've done their dive, and they're heading home or heading off to a fishing spot.
The first boat Jason spots is a deserted boat in the middle of the sea.
Doesn't look to be anybody on board, and there's no dive flag up, but that doesn't really mean nothing. Might be some dives around, so the last thing we want to do is give them a haircut with our props, so we may have to come back shortly to see where the owner is.
The team suspects the owner of the boat may be a diver looking for cray or power.
Definitely worth having a look, because you can't actually take power using scuba. There's a lot of undersized power around this area, but possibly just down there getting crays, so we'll definitely come back and take a look when he surfaces.
While they wait for the diver to surface, they check other boats in the area.
I'm quite happy.
You quite happy?
Yeah.
Got much fish?
Not a hell of a lot, we'll get a few.
Mind if I jump on and have a look?
Come on, by all means.
6. Oh, nice. Good sized ones. Excellent. Well, you're doing better than anybody else we've seen today. Yeah, I'll have it back.
With not much happening on the water, the officers head back to check on the empty boat.
boat seems to be drifting. No one appears to be on board.
The diver's been down for an hour, and with the boat drifting, the diver could surface some distance from the boat. So Jason contacts another M-Fish vessel up the harbour to see if they've seen anything.
Cheers for that. We just had a diver down for an hour. There's still no sign of him.
The other vessel reports no sightings, and Jason's becoming worried the diver may soon run out of air.
I was just going to go in, check the boat, make sure there's not another dive tank in the boat. He could have come up and changed tanks while we were away, which would explain the long time. Have a look along the rocks. He could have just snorkeled in, be looking for power or something like that, free diving possibly. Now, if we still can't see him, we'll come back to the boat and try and get a name and some details off it and call the Coast Guard.
There's no more dive tanks in the ducks.
Yeah. Keys in there, dive torch, there's a watch there, and his dive flag is in the boat.
It's a good place to have it, isn't it, in the boat? I thought he might have had another tank and come up and gone back down again, but it's not like that's the case at all.
The situation is now becoming serious. Time is running out on a standard tank, and there is no sign of the missing diver.
Is there a cell phone or anything?
Car keys.
I'm just going to call Coast Guard and let them know, what we've found. The guy's been best part of an hour and a half now since we first came along. Admittedly, we haven't been watching it the whole time, but we've been watching it the last 40 minutes. And there's no sign of him, so we might just let Coast Guard know that it's here and see if they've heard anything. So all indicators look like he's gone for a dive.
With no diver in sight and no news from the Coast Guard, Jason decides to start combing the shore. Out of the blue, a vessel speeds towards the empty boat.
Is this your guys' boat?
Yes, it's us. Yeah, if you could just come over here, please. Whose is the little boat here?
It's my dad's.
Your dad's boat, okay. All right, yeah, we've just been around in this bay here and noticed there was nobody on the on the boat.
We thought that would be happening.
Oh, okay.
We put the dive flag down. We took the dive flag down before we left. We actually got away here. We thought we could go back and drop that.
Okay. No worries.
These careless divers seem unaware of the worry they have caused the officers.
We actually knew that people would be looking.
You boys want one of these?
But we knew we weren't going to be that long as well, you know.
We're safe and sound, that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, guys, thank you very much.
Yep, very good.
Take care.
Yep.
See you later. See ya.
Hopefully these divers will leave a Dear John letter next time they decide to abandon ship. In the last 5 years, over 25 divers have lost their lives in Kiwi waters. It's late summer, and the North Shore Coast Guard team are out on patrol in Auckland's Waitemata Harbour. After several months of settled weather, a casual attitude has developed amongst some boaties, which means the Coast Guard needs to be more vigilant than usual.
This vessel, he can't get anything started. It sounds electrical because he can't even get his GPS up.
The first call of the day is from a charter boat, and with a packed harbour, spotting the vessel could be difficult.
Nothing above 12 knots, mate. We'll just keep it nice and slow and keep our eyes open. We're looking for a vessel in an area that's obviously full of traffic with the Louis Vuitton racing, so just a matter of tracking him down. At 14 metres, he should be reasonably distinctive. Is this him or not? I don't think this is us, given that it's got... Let's go and have a look over there, guys. That's got the canopy over the back as well. Yeah. And looks a little bit more 14-metre-ish to me.
Finally, the charter vessel is spotted.
G'day, mate. Copy to your calls. Can we just get all the lines clear from this side of the boat, and we'll come in here. We'll have a look at the power first for you, see if we can get you going, and then if necessary, we'll arrange a tow.
The charter vessel has a stag do on board. Luckily, it's early in the day and they're all fairly tame. The Coast Guard crew remedy the problem with a quick jump start.
They'll be able to continue on with their day, so just a matter of getting the crew aboard. Leaves you guys with the rest of your day. Cheers, guys. And you're in. Yep. Nice work, guys. So safely started, no issues other than the battery.
The stag do, so the groom got the blame, and
fair enough too.
I guess I'll take it out on him later.
Just as the team leave, they get another call from a boat with mechanical issues.
Okay guys, so we're approaching the scene. We're looking for a 14-foot fire ant runabout. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't look like anything like the target that we've been described. We're off Home Bay at the moment. Can't see any 14-foot fire ants. Anything better on that location?
A couple of kilometres east of Rakino Island, Joe thinks they may have located the boat they're looking for.
We've got a vessel up ahead of us. The hardest part of this job is finding him.
Just had a call from the vessel you're looking for. They have a visual on you. They tell me you're heading into Station Bay. They are slightly further south.
He said he thought he could see us, didn't he?
Oh, 2 red boats, he said. And there's a possibility that we're one of the red boats. It looks like we've probably located the target. Not quite where they said they were, but hey, that happens pretty well every day for us. At Coastguard, we have located the fire ant vessel some 3/4 of a mile off the Motatapu coast. We'll be offering assistance now, over. Plans, guys, we're not going to go alongside. Derry, you can do exactly with the approach that you were doing earlier.
I'm just going to come over there and have a look. Handshake. Once Ben's just had a look, everything's connected. We'll come back over.
Yeah, copy, we'll stand by. Over.
After a quick jump start, the vessel's motor is running.
Successfully started and will be making their way to where on their own steam.
With the vessel on its way, the team stand by. It's nearing the end of the day and the swell and wind has picked up. And it's not long before the crew are called to another rescue.
We've had a report through of a yellow Mac boat swamped. And initially the location was very unspecific, but one of the Coast Guard guys involved in that last incident had actually seen a boat matching that description in the Crusoe Channel area, Crusoe Rock area. So we've been able to respond to that area now. We can see the yellow boat obviously has been swamped and has been run ashore.
The Westpac rescue helicopter has also been called to the rescue to assess the man on the shore for any injuries and hypothermia.
Yeah, we have a Westpac crewman in the area and we're going to assess the situation.
The North Shore vessel can't go inshore without getting beached, so the Howick Coast Guard vessel is on its way to help. The team needs to act quickly to get to the man and his boat before dark.
We need to evac him from that area and then think about think about his boat. Can you go in? You're Jack. Can you go in and get him? Yeah. Do you want an extra crewman? Yeah. Take Sven.
With light fading rapidly, the team won't be able to retrieve the yellow boat today. But the good news is that the rescue helicopter team have given the man the all clear.
By the time Howick 2's back, I want another 2 people ready to get on and go and help Sven. This guy's lucky to be fitting well. In all honesty, it looks like it would have been a pretty frightening place to be. The conditions today, the wind we're seeing, and that little boat, he's a lucky man.
The smaller vessel is able to get close enough to the rocky shoreline to enable the rescue crew to hoist the man on board. Upon transferring aboard the Coast Guard boat, the man has just one word to describe his ordeal.
Scary. At Coast Guard, we've successfully recovered 2 of the crew and the skipper of the stricken vessel aboard North Shore Rescue. We'll be recovering the remaining 2 crewmen shortly and then be making our way clear of the scene from there.
Hey, you're safe? It's a good day.
Yeah. I look at the weather, it's too rough.
It always pays to check the forecast. Auckland's unpredictable weather can quickly change. All it takes is the wind to pick up or the weather to turn. Once the man is dropped safely ashore, the crew can return to the base and finally call it a day. It's a grey Christchurch morning and local fishery officers have decided to have a weekend blitz. First stop is Anchorage Bay. This locality is known to have a good supply of power on the rocks, and with low spring tides expected over the weekend, the team know that someone's bound to be tempted by some easy pickings.
The conditions here perfect today, absolutely perfect. If anybody's going to be out, they're going to be out here today. I mean, that water's crystal clear. It's really nice.
All along the rocky, secluded bays of Canterbury's east coast, highly valuable power stocks are under threat.
Minister of Fisheries.
Oh, yeah.
What have you been diving for today? Water clear?
No,
not that good.
Just been walking along the road, just been teaching the young girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the size is after this, so I just come out of the water.
don't know what size you mean. Do you know what size you're
I know
supposed
they're
to
big. I was going to come and measure them like to the end of the knife.
have?
You haven't got a measure with you?
I don't know the measure.
Hey?
I don't know. It's my first time.
Nah, get out of here. Well, unfortunately, you've got 6 undersized power there.
Yep.
And that's an offence, okay?
Yep.
Because you've committed offence under the Fisheries Act here and taken undersized power,
Yep.
I'm going to have to take some details off you, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
The fine could be $250. But that's not my decision, you know, so no.
The man received a warning letter for possession of undersized power. Brian and the team decide to relocate to another hotspot for power gatherers, Godley Heads.
We've had some power poaching going on over in there in the last few weeks and apprehended quite a number of people.
With the conditions today perfect for power gathering, Brian and the team head down to the beach to see who's fishing.
Recently shucked power, it's still got the meat, the hua and the remnants of the hua still in it. Sitting here drying in the sun, probably only a few days old. As you can see by the size of that, that's what we're up against. People here taking these sort of things, you know, power that size. It's a bit of a shame. But we are catching up with them.
Just around the corner, a suspect gatherer has been spotted. This man is about to be caught red-handed.
I'd like to talk to you, please. What did you put down in the rocks? What did you put down here?
What's that?
Okay.
This how many of that?
Did you take any power?
No. What's the power? I don't know.
How many of those did you take?
Oh, there's a look at just this one.
Yeah, you took this here. You took this. You took that there. You took the power. We saw you take it out of the bucket.
I don't know, just.
Yes, I know. I saw you.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, undersized power.
I don't know, just also what that.
And your friend, you called out to your friend.
Just friend, just come and fishing, yeah. Just fishing.
We need to take your name, sir. Okay. And you can speak good English?
No.
Yes, you can.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. It's enough.
We both saw you put
those back in the water, okay? 2 undersized power. You had them in your bucket and you took them out and put them on the beach.
I don't know.
Yes, I know.
It's a power.
You knew what it was.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't you go anywhere. You stay here, please. Put your bucket down. Put your bucket down here.
What's that?
Put your bucket... No. You leave that there. Just put it there. You tell me your name.
Blackfoot power must be at least 125 millimetres lengthwise to be legally taken, and the man won't find many of those in rock pools this close to the shore.
Cat size, do you know how many you're allowed to have?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
Okay. You can take 50. You can keep those. It's okay. So you can't take those. Don't touch them. They're too small in this area. Okay? Very small. There's lots of them everywhere, but don't touch because they're too small. And once you've taken these, if you cut that when you take it and it bleeds, it will die. Okay? So I'm going to put those back, but they'll most likely die. You understand?
Yes, I see.
So if you don't need it, don't take it. Unfortunately, as you can see, they're pretty easy to get here at low tide. He didn't even get his feet wet. And this is the problem with this area.
The man received a warning letter from the Ministry of Fisheries, and hopefully next time he'll think twice before pillaging undersized power from the rock pools.